crop picks right at the peak of perfection to make snow crop frozen orange juice. Why frozen? Because freezing is the one way to capture and keep all that flavor and healthful vitamin C. And as Teddy Snowcrop says, Snowcrop saves you all the work and half the cost of oranges you'd carry home and squeeze.
All you do is add 3 cans of water, stir, and a 6-ounce can makes a pint and a half of wonderful orange juice.
And in nationwide taste tests, America votes 2-to-1. Snowcrop tastes better than home squeezed. No wonder Snowcrop is by far America's biggest selling orange juice. Get Snowcrop.
The finest foods are chosen.
Yeah, all the freshest foods are frozen by
Snowcrop frozen foods.
It's Snowcrop. Snowcrop.
Oh, sorry, Walt.
It's all right. Nothing broken.
Say, don't tell me a big He-Man like you uses a deodorant.
Not a deodorant, Dan. Stop that spray deodorant. And there's nothing sissy about it.
Ah, go on.
Listen, it isn't only heat that makes us perspire. Excitement will do it, too. Pressure of business, any kind of tension.
Yes, but does this really work on men?
You're doggone right it does. That's why I like Stopette. It's not only a deodorant, but it's an antiperspirant, too.
An anti-what?
I mean, it actually gets rid of perspiration all day. That's really important. Don't, not like that. Like this. Just hold the bottle straight up, give it a quick squeeze, just one, and it lasts all day long.
Say, that's all right. It's easy to use, isn't it?
Nothing to stick your fingers into either, and it dries just like that.
Say, Walt, can I borrow this?
Sure, just put it in my locker after you're finished. And pick some up for yourself on the way home.
Thanks, Walt.
Poof. There goes perspiration.
Never before a lipstick so red. An exciting new lipstick. New Viv, in 6 of the most vivid reds any woman has ever worn. One shade is redder than a fire engine. Another shade is redder than a rose. Exciting new Viv. Viv shades from pink to plum look brighter, more lustrous, because a new way has been found to give depth of color to lipstick. And Viv's bright color stays on. Viv is the comfortable, long-lasting lipstick, never drying. Viv keeps your lips soft, moist, smooth. Choose your favorite from 6 vivid shades. Try Viv on your own lips. See what Viv, the really vivid lipstick, can do for you. Never before a lipstick so red. New Viv, the comfortable, long-lasting lipstick.
The man who exploded. Well, he looks as though he's about ready to explode, but what's it all about?
Just this. He's been trying to watch television all evening, but he's had to jump up every few minutes, like this, to adjust his set because of interference. After 2 hours of that, well, he just exploded. Isn't that too bad? And he could have had such a pleasant time if he'd been watching television on a new Westinghouse big screen set like this one, for instance. There just isn't any interference to bother you on the screen of a new Westinghouse set. There are no flopovers like this, for instance. They've been completely eliminated by a sensational new development called the electronic clarifier. And if you've ever felt like exploding because of streaks on your screen like this, they usually come from someone in the neighborhood using outmoded electrical equipment, well, you just sit back and relax. You won't get any on the screen of a new Westinghouse set because of the electronic clarifier. And then there's the business of airplanes. When they fly overhead, your present set probably does this, doesn't it? Uh-huh. It gets the flutters. Well, there won't be any flutters on a new Westinghouse set. There just can't be because of the electronic clarifier. Now, at last, you get clear pictures that stay clear, with no streaks, no flutter, and no flop over in every area where the television signal is normal. And if the set you're looking at now gives you a clear picture here in the center, but out toward the edges it tends to blur, well, that's another trouble that you won't have with a new Westinghouse set, because the picture is always clear and sharp all over. There are lots of other wonderful improvements in new Westinghouse sets, too. As a matter of fact, I don't have time to tell you about all of them, but they all add up to this. With all these amazing improvements, Westinghouse brings you the very best television reception possible. So why don't you stop in at your Westinghouse dealer and see these beautiful new Westinghouse big screen television sets for yourself. They're really just so beautiful, and you'll be surprised that your dealer will give you a most generous trade-in allowance on your old small screen set. And remember, you can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
This year, Anson is serving up...
Your attention, please. Please do not smoke in the terminal building. Smoking is only permitted in the specified smoking areas.
Zach? OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang. OG, I draw up the plate. Niggas don't know what to think. Thought I get money, you change. What you thought we was the same? Still stay away from them clones. Niggas better leave me alone. Talking about niggas as low. Run with niggas who don't know you. Whoa, I make that zagging when city to city. You niggas not hot in your state. If it was money to get a hit Henny, we get it and never complain. Same go for the gang, and we split it up all the same. I can't really eat, let's stay straight, cause we go way back in the day. My day ones from back in the day, they still hang around me today. You wanna come round us, you can't. I'm rolling up loud, it's great. Lil' mama, she bad but complain, cause I'm too in love with my dreams. And I gotta get on the plane, and go get this money with Dizzy. I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang.
I get the bag with the gang, taking that sack to the bank. And it be all in my drink. You niggas is stupid, you think that should change? You not even hot in your gang. Ain't nothing even hot about your gang. You niggas be lying about saying, be posting them pictures of guns for the fame. Niggas just look at me different now. Say that's your man, but he a clown. Don't fuck around with the fuck arounds. Little nigga, you should cut it out. Me and my niggas take different routes. Punch a bitch nigga all in his mouth. Hold up my nigga, we different now. I need a Rari, this is my style. I get a check today, I spent it all tomorrow. I get a bitch today, she probably a foreign model. I get a check today, I spent it all tomorrow. I'm with my gang today, tomorrow never promise.
OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang. OG, I draw up the plate, and then he go get the cake. Then we link up with the gang.
I think I'm cute, I know I'm sexy, I've got the look that drives the girls wild. I got the moves that really move them. I send chills up and down their spines. I'm just a sexy boy, I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy, I'm not your boy toy. I make them hot, I make them shiver. Their knees get weak whenever I'm around. They see me walk, they hear me talk. I make them feel like they're on cloud nine. I'm just a sexy boy, I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy, I'm not your boy toy. Put your heart out, girls, and hands off the merchandise. So I'm back again, because we all get over. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. Welcome everybody to another edition of the Pocket Locker Podcast. It is your boy, Pocket Locker 86. And as always, folks, I am in airplane mode. All right, folks, let's jump into it. We got ourselves a very special show today. I can see my main man, Cameron Bennett, is also in airplane mode. Whew, let's go ahead and jump into our communion so we can jump into our show. Y'all already know the drill. Please raise your glasses and hold on to your asses. I guess I want to put my robe on, but I only want to wear it for communion. I don't feel like wearing a robe today. I got to get into some real shit today. Some real nigga shit today. Really ain't got time to be out here in this goddamn Christian robe. But then again, this shit look kind of fly. And it does have my color scheme on it. Oh, the purple and black. Oh, look at that purple and black. Never mind. My robe is sexy. All right, here we go. Please raise your glasses and hold on to your asses. Through him, with him, in him, and the unity of the flying man. All glory and honor is yours who fly for our sins forever and ever. You may drink. All right. Let's go ahead and get into our communion song. Today we're going to go with our Foy Vance classic. This is our Gather theme song, I guess you could call it. We will be in Gather all day, all night, like we always are. So please come join us in Gather. Come link up with the gang. Here we go, where everybody knows your name.
And he's going to play us out. Foy, you're going to play what to finish us up?
Do you know what? I don't know the name of this song, actually, but I know the song, and so will you.
Oh, I look forward to this. Foy Vance, take it away.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go wherever knows your name. And they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Well, all those nights when you got no lights and the check is in the mail, and your little angel hung the collared by its tail. Your third fiancé didn't show. Well, sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name. And you're always glad they came. You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Well, you get out of bed and the coffee's dead. The morning isn't looking bright. You shrink right off to Europe and he doesn't even write. Your girlfriend says she's not a girl. Be glad there's one place in the world where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows.
Guys,
your
don't forget to
name.
use your... Don't forget to redeem your pocket change because we're going to reset the accounts after the new year.
Are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Boy, Vance. Most common word coming in by text, boy, is goosebumps. Believe it or not, we've had that repeatedly across a whole series. If you want to see Vance's cheek,
You know, there was a tremendous irony that hit me yesterday, as I shared with many of y'all. Not just, I think, Saturday and yesterday, as I talked about, you know, sort of this falling out I had with my mother, and I think, you know, it's just so interesting because of the depth of the conversation, some of which we'll touch on today. But just, it's amazing to reflect on how strongly both of us feel about our family, actually. Yeah, it just kind of struck me Saturday rather, because when I went to do the stream about it, of course, we just handle business as normal. And one of the things that really upsets me about what I'm dealing with my family is that it makes them so weird and so out there that they really can't celebrate the things that are happening and going on in our family. And that, of course, spoke to me as soon as I went to do the stream, because it's like ironic, like I'm doing a stream about, you know, something going on in my family, but at the same time, it's a perfect example of exactly the problem I'm having. They can't celebrate the fact that, you know, my community's growing, that, you know, I've been streaming for years and my streaming is finally, you know, going somewhere. And then my cousin, OG Roddy, y'all know our artist here, is, you know, they can't celebrate his music either, right? They don't listen to his music. They, you know, the Christian ears just can't hear it. It is what it is. We'll deal with it. But it was kind of funny to think about that in that context. So with that being said, since we're talking about family today, let's go ahead and get our OG Roddy in there. So yeah, please do check out the OG Roddy Spotify playlist. Let me go ahead and drop this damn link on people, because I know people be wondering where they could find this music. And yeah, this one's called Shot at Jerry's Pull Up.
Yeah. She be getting her hair done Tuesday. Where you going? Feet up, relaxing, sipping that Douce. This was 2K. Shit, I can hit you on my two-way, or I can
Christian
try to
earmuffs around the OG Roddy. Exactly. Yeah, it's all love, man. A lot of y'all going through a lot of work, so
now, do you
appreciate that, though.
Shot-town to New Jersey,
we gon' pull up.
Hell yeah, I got the hookup. Now, do you
appreciate
that you need Shot-town?
Sorry about that. I was playing the stream back.
You gotta act brand new.
I was playing the stream back because I wanted to drop that link on y'all. So go ahead. That's the OG Roddy playlist on Spotify. The rest of the music is at itsairplanemode.com.
Living in the moment, like in the city with the gas roll for you. And I come get you and we play them corners like.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna add the Spotify playlist to my template so that it's in the description from now on. What it is?
Cause you know I like to play with you. Come spend the day with you, come kick it, seeing what it do. Feeling comfortable, I make the move. But now it's different though, I guess it's cool. You wasn't shy about my love, remember after school the days when I picked you up. So now you fucked around and changed, almost messed it up. See, I ain't changed, baby, trying to catch a plane with you. Came back around to show you that I made for you. And here you go with the same old song on your weekend shit. I might just wish I never met her like Carl Tom is, but I ain't tripping no. Stay up on the grind, we gon' get some dough. And you got that good ass brain, I had to let you know. I really wanna let you know. Tell me where you wanna go and what you wanna know.
Whoa.
What you doing, girl? Pull up on me. I ain't got a lot of time.
Living in the moment, like in the city with the gas roll for you.
Can I come get you and we bend them corners like. Disrespect about me. No disrespect about me. City, so you know about it.
So you know about it.
I can tell you about it. Now let me tell you when you playing, no, I had to shout it. So you know about it. I can tell. What you doing, girl? Pull up on me. I ain't got a lot of time living in the moment. I'm in the city with the gas roll for you. Can I come get you and we bend them corners like. No disrespect about me. No disrespect about me. City, so you know about it. So you know I'm about it. I can tell you about it. Now let me tell you when you playing. No, I had to shout it.
I probably need to shorten that, but it's all good. It's all love. All right, let's get into this, y'all. That song always plays right after.
Damn.
All right, so look, check it. This is some shit that I wanted to share with y'all because I wanted to really kind of take the conversation to the next level. The first conversation we had about what happened with my mom was kind of just the immediate aftermath, trying to just respond in the moment to what happened. Yesterday, we chopped it up a little bit on Hot Program, but, you know, I don't intend to just be out here putting my family's business all in the streets, making y'all think I'm out here shitting all over my mother. That's not really what this is about, right? We're a counter-apologetics community, and so what I'm really trying to do is reflect on what happened in sort of nuanced ways that are gonna, one, encourage y'all that these things happen. You know, I'm fine. I'm right here. Everything's good. So you'll probably be all right too. And also to get you kind of to think about some of the challenges that you might deal with if you decide to go down this path. Now, a couple of, you know, let's hang the asterisks for the whole show. This path is not safe, so take of it what you may. Number two, this is the road less traveled. I know not a lot of people are, you know, in that trying to do what I'm trying to do, so I understand that. And number three, this is not a judgment or suggestion thing. I'm not telling you, you know, your mileage may vary. Right? I'm not telling you, this is what you have to do, or this is what I think you necessarily should do given the uniqueness of your situation, which of course I don't know. But I'm just going to kind of kick it to what I think what I'm dealing with says to, of course, what's going on in the bigger picture, what some of y'all might deal with, and, kind of we could think through it together. So YouTube Punk asked the question of the day. Your mother lied? Yeah. And there was quite a bit of dishonesty in this conversation, right? Which, for better or worse, kind of escalated my level of anger or upsetness because, of course, you don't expect this from the people in your family. And it's not that they're not like the type of, they're lying to themselves, right? It's not a situation where they're like telling you something that's obviously factually incorrect so much as they're misrepresenting the situation to themselves to make it more safe, and then that comes out in the conversation, and so it's unfortunate. But let me give you a couple of examples so that we're getting on the same page about something tangible. So my mother is the type of person who identifies as a Christian. And by that, I don't mean somebody who is just like, oh, yeah, I believe in the Jesus, blah, 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 right? Our whole family's identity is been built on faith in church, in Jesus. And, my mother's this type of person who, if she describes herself to you, it is going to be God first or Christian first off the top. Off the top. And my entire life, it's been very central to her, right? And it's just everywhere in everything. Yet when we have this conversation and, I'm calling it attention that there are some problems with the faith, all of a sudden she basically tried to tell me, like, she doesn't understand why this is so important to me. Like, why am I so obsessed with this? Why do I take this so seriously? Because for her, it's just not that big of a deal. Like, her, to her, religion is just not that important. And I mean, as you can tell from my reaction now, that is laughably not true. That is laughably not true. You cannot let people who dragged you out of bed every Sunday morning, told you Jesus was the reason for the season. Jesus is the core of the center of their heart, of their soul, of who they are. They want to train you up in the way as you should go according to the Bible and all of this shit. And all of a sudden you challenge it. And wait, no. Jesus is just kind of like that extra sharp cheddar. I really, really prefer the extra sharp cheddar. But if you just have the sharp cheddar, that's fine. Jesus is not your fucking preference. Okay? Like, and it's one of these things where it's because for all of a sudden they're hearing a conversation where Jesus does not equal automatic good praise and devotion. All of a sudden, Jesus is being challenged. And I'm going to tell you something else that was really ironic about it. It was humiliating from the perspective of my family's perspective, from my family's Christianity and their faith. This is the conversation we didn't have because, I don't give a fuck. But it revealed to me kind of what Uncle Bobby says. The best part about Christianity is that it requires absolutely no follow-up. Because it immediately reminded me of Peter. And it made me look at my mother as somebody who was spent, for not wanting to do the actual math, let's just say 60 years as a Christian, and it's the core of your identity, and Jesus, and you're in the choir and your church, and y'all, I tried to do, let's just say, some back of the napkin math, and I think my mother has easily contributed 6 figures to churches. I'm more thinking the figures between $250,000 and $500,000, if we're gonna be honest. And that 10% off the top that's coming to Jesus, let's just say, comes out to Jesus with the easiness, the quickness, the love, the just on schedule, on time, every time. But the financial help for the family comes after a fucking credit check, a fucking background check, a fucking 5-person panel review of the financial plan for every dollar, how it's going to be spent and how it's going to be repaid. It is like getting run through the ringer to ask for $5. Whereas Jesus, again, just gets 10% off the top, up in a cloud of smoke. But anyway, the fact that people can make it so central, but then as soon as it's like, oh, hey, you're one of them fucked up ass Christians, right? Oh, no, well, it's not that I was following Jesus actually as one. I was just passively interested in him. No, Jesus isn't the center of my life. Jesus and I are just merely acquaintances. Yeah, I heard that he had an interesting story, so I just went to check him out, see what all the hoopla was about. And, it was all right, but, it was pretty good. So and again, y'all, it's not this person, like, trying to be, like, fuckface Frank Turek. It's just that this is the conditioning they have. Like, since all of faith is fucking interpretive word games, when their faith is challenged, it just becomes, what kind of interpretive word game dance can we play here? And I was not having it. And hey, man! Yeah. This makes sense, man. I'm telling you. This makes sense! Like, I'm not feeling that at all. And I was like, no, that's why I say yesterday on Hot Program, my family does not deserve your sympathy. Y'all, we are ministers. I come from 5 generations of fucking ministers. Everybody in my family either preaches, is a musician on a worship team, sings in a choir, and quite frankly, usually all of them shits put together. Growing up, my mother was in a motherfucking gospel recording group. She made gospel music albums. I know because I fucking recorded them. You do not get to fund something, be the ambassadors of something, be the generational family of inheriting the fucking privileges and benefits and esteem associated therewith, be the fucking gospel princess of Jesus for 60 fucking years, and then pass this shit off as it's all fucking good because you merely have a passing acquaintance with this Jesus fella. No. No. Nope. Wasn't having any of that. Not at all. And then here's the other thing. Like, this was the bless your heart. Sorry I hurt your feelings. Sorry you feel that way about your upbringing, right? So there was all this nonsense about, like, I'm sorry that, you feel this way about the way I raised you, and I'm sorry I raised you. And I said over and over and over again, I don't care. That's not what we're here for. I've long since forgiven you for that. You don't need to be forgiven for that. You did the best you can. Like, all of that shit. So let's skip all that because I said all that and I said it repeatedly. And it gets, but here's the point that I want to make, and I want people to take this on. I tried to make it very clear. The issue is not you're sorry about the way you treated me in the past. You got to be very clear about this. That is not the fucking issue. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Let me be very clear about this. My mother, as far as I'm concerned, when I was growing up, like I said, greatest human being to have ever human beinged, greatest mother to have ever mothered. If I were to have a fucking mom draft right now and you just put hundreds and thousands of candidates out there and you were like, this one's an atheist and this one's an evolutionary biologist and this one's fucking radical and this one loves weed and all this shit, I would pass by all thousands of them shits and be like, and with the first pick, Jason Bundy selects Wanda Priester and let's keep it moving. Like, me and my mom are good to go, right? But parenting is like a marriage. It's a relationship. You get no fucking credit for what you did in the past. Your significant other can be like, oh my goodness, the last 40 years with you have been the most amazing 40 years. They've been beyond any sort of joy and happiness I could have ever imagined. However, if your ass starts acting fucked up tomorrow, you might end up divorced next week. Because that's how relationships work. To remain in the person's life, you have to get with the program today. You are not going to be given credit for what you did in the past if you got me all types of fucked up today and going forward. It's just the nature of the beast, and we all know that. So what my mom didn't understand, especially under the guise of all of this bullshit talking point about you don't understand why we're having this conversation because it doesn't seem to be that serious to you. All we've asked you to do is make space for us in your life and not present us with things that are offensive to us. And the fact that they can't do that reveals the fact that they're obsessed with their faith. Like, because if something is casual to you, Harley's Quincy, I hate my mom. Don't tell her I said that. But no, I don't hate my mom. We're all finding out where we're at on all of this multi-dimensional access of dealing with individual family members, and then the larger multi-dimensional super axes of determining where we fit in with the family, and then the larger picture at large. Some of us literally can't survive without our families. Others have more independent, all of that shit, right? I don't hate my mom, though. I just really think she's literally great. But what I realized in this conversation is Christianity is the worst part of my family. And it's the worst part of all the people in my family. And as such, when Christianity is the subject matter, my family ceases to be the wonderful human beings they are in any other realm in domain of life, and they basically become fuckface Christian apologists without even realizing it. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about, y'all, is the fact that this sort of getting our shit together and figuring out who we are and what the fuck is up in the world is going to, I think, lead us to this point where you're going to have the holy shit experience that I've been having, or maybe you already have, which is like, you don't think your family's Christian apologist. You don't think your family's like sitting on some bullshit. For the most part, they're good to go with you. They're wonderful people, blah, 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 blah. But then you're going to have this conversation, and the shit that comes out of their mouth, you're just going to be like, Who the fuck are you? Right? Like, whoa. Like, you know what I mean? Because they're our family, so they're so on point, right? They're the people who you go to, right? And normally they're like, so-and-so said what? Oh, no. Ain't nobody gonna come at my baby like that. Okay, they could go fuck themselves. Okay, this is how you take care of them. Okay, right? Because you ain't gonna let nobody mess with you. And if anybody mess with you, you're gonna come tell me, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you ain't gonna let nobody, right? And then you tell them their religion is doing all types of fucked up shit to you, and they're like, whoa, wait. But why though? I mean, it's not that, but wait, but it makes me feel good. It just gives me hope, meaning, and purpose. I don't hate you. It is not I who despises you. It is, the Bible? Oh no, I don't even believe that part. I don't read that. Oh, look into it. No, sorry. I don't, like, y'all, the backflips. I was like, who are you? I literally felt like my mom turned to fuckface Frank Turek. Like I was talking to the black female fuckface Frank Turek. And I'll be honest with you, I treated her like the black female fuckface Frank Turek. And it's crazy because, again, my mom is the best person to ever person. I told her monkey ass off, and I'm sitting here telling you today, that bitch got off easy. She deserved the ass me handing her ass. I was, whoo. Let's just say, had it not been for the fact that I was on the phone with my mother, it would have been so much worse. And so it's funny. It's like, I don't have any regret at all. I'm like, nope. This ass whooping for y'all, for people in my family, has been long overdue. And I mean when I say they don't deserve your sympathy. And I'm sorry, y'all. I just think the people in my life, the Christians on this tip, have just failed to grow up. And the thing I'm starting to realize is, at some point, they do have a lot of sympathy and empathy from me, but it's only because I think the people around them are enabling them. You know, the more and more I get into this, it's really on us. Because we are the person in their life who could call it out. We are the person in their life who knows they're wrong, who knows their religion is lying to them. We know their book is sitting on some bullshit, but we won't say a goddamn thing to them about it. So they're walking around in an ignorant-ass bubble, and then out of everybody else's desire to not have a confrontation with these motherfuckers, you know, they just let it go. And at some point, it's like we talk about with Fuckface Doug. How many times do you go still play poker with this motherfucker until we say you're part of the problem? How many racist
overwhelming sense of impending doom?
How many times do you have dinner with Kanye West until you're just going along with fuckface Kanye West? See, I think for a lot of people, and this is the part a lot of y'all not gonna like to hear, I think for a lot of us, we gotta grow the fuck up. We have to accept that there is this huge difference between who we are and how our family treats us. And it is not something we can ignore. And again, we're going to hang the asterisk for the episode. I know I'm not talking to everybody. I know some of y'all can't, won't, whatever, blah, 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 whatever. This is for the people who want to, are willing to, have been thinking about it, really would like to, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, it's go time. Because look, y'all, at some point, it's your fault. If my student walks into my evolutionary biology classroom talking about some creationist fucking nonsense, right? And I make everybody else in the classroom deal with science and everything normal, but I tell them, hey, look, it's cool if you don't really want to accept this evolution stuff, if you don't really want to write about that, because I know this is hard for you, blah, 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 blah. If that student walks out of my course and still doesn't know a goddamn thing about evolution, is it really their fault? No, because I had the tools, the resources, the empowerment, the ability. I knew better, and I didn't do better. So at the end of the day, if you really are trying to tell me, like, yo, Jay, I can't really deal with my family because they're just so lost in the dark and they don't understand, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be like, yo, you have my, never-ending sympathy, empathy, patience, grace, whatever you need. And if that's just how you're going to ride for life, then I accept that. But if it's really bothering you, then you need to do something about it. And you're probably the only person who can. So at some point, we just got to accept it's not going to go well. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult for them. But they'll live. Like, I'm not even worried about shit my mother. I got to be honest with y'all. I don't feel bad. I don't regret it. I don't have remorse. I'm not sitting here like, oh, I wish I didn't say this or that. No. Like, it was just time. Like, y'all, they need to hear it. They're wrong. Some of y'all don't feel as strongly as I do about these things. But, like, I'm not the type of person who's going to give a person esteem and boost up their ego when they're wrong. Because if then they continue to be wrong, it's on me. You're continuing to tell these people, oh, you're the most loving person. Oh, come here, auntie so-and-so. I'm just so happy to see you. You just make me feel so... Come on, bro. She in Sunday morning talking about heathens this, heathens that, blah, 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 blah. Come on. Yo. When are you going to tell people, like, yes, you're a fucking wonderful person, but you got to knock this shit off? This religion hates us. It hates us. And I got to be honest with you. It's going to be a lot of our friends on the right, the Lupins, the Otangelos. Let Rebecca crazy ass come back up here on this fucking YouTube. She not going to like her conversations with me going forward. Because I'm going to call that bitch a liar to her face. And I'm going to tell her she hates us. And she hates us. And I'm not going to pretend she doesn't hate us anymore. I'm not going to keep pretending this religion is not hate and lies. Hate and lies built on more hate, lies, and ignorance. It's 2020. It's going 2023, y'all. Why should I have to live like this? No. Nobody is getting this fucking automatic religious esteem from me going forward. I don't give a fuck if you're related to me, if you birthed me, if you offer me $100 million. I don't give a fuck. I don't care how good your pussy is. None of that shit. I don't care. You're wrong. Nigga come at me talking about some 2 + 2 is 5. It is not. God doesn't exist. Grow up. There's no such thing as sin. Grow up. Jesus may or may not even have existed, but if he existed, he most certainly wasn't born to a virgin. He did not die for our sins. He did not rise again. He is not coming back. And if you think so, you're a fucking moron. You're an idiot. I'm sorry. You're dumb. I have to say, you're dumb. You're really, really dumb. You just are. And people need to tell you this so that you can tell. Because look, y'all, here's the thing. Some pressure busts pipes, some pressure makes diamonds. I just blew that out my ass. That's probably not really a good way to put it. But you won't know until you apply the pressure. And that's what a lot of us are doing. We're procrastinating on an inevitable conflict. And a lot of y'all, I think, are deliberately procrastinating until it's too late. You got loved ones, they're older, they're, 50, 60 plus, and now you're leaning towards, they're just too far gone. You're going to wait until they're on their deathbed, and then you really know you're out, right? Because we've already talked about this. Deathbed's not the time to have a fucking debate. But if these motherfuckers being around in your life for another 10, 20 years, come on, y'all. And you're making excuses for people who don't deserve it. I'm sorry. Let me demonstrate, y'all. Pretend that this is not the most amazing sacred text ever and pretend it's a normal bullshit-ass Christian Bible, all right? If you got a motherfucker in your family who was like this, yes, and we're going to exegete from Chronicles chapter 2, verse 21 through 25. Yes, right. And then we'll be connecting that thread on through to the psalmist and what they put in Psalm 9, verse 2 through 5, right? And then I need you to peg that because we're going to go to Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 6 through 23, and then of course, y'all, I need you to understand this. This is all about the gospel, right? And then what's their monkey ass gonna do? They sit there on their fucking word processor. They type up a fucking mini fucking dissertation. Some of y'all got motherfuckers in your family that write fucking master's thesis on exegetical shit almost every other fucking weekend, right? Then what do they fucking do? They go to a fucking church, they get their monkey ass up there, sometimes in front of hundreds or thousands of people or in a Bible study, and what the fuck do? They scholar some other fucking people on how to understand their fucking exegetical nonsense. And then what does your monkey ass do? You sit up there and act like, well, I don't know if they can't. I can't tell them that they're wrong. They can't handle it. They'll never be able to wrap their minds around it. Oh, it's just too much. No, I'm sorry. All of this is some emotional blackmail horse shit. Okay, and all of that. Oh, well, you're gonna need them. Oh, well, your grandparents aren't gonna be around forever. Well, Grant Celia loves you, and you're her favorite, and it would just break her heart. That's a fucking threat! That is a fucking threat! Somebody go down to the women's shelter right now and tell that bitch that's there because her husband went all upside her head that she's gonna need him. Oh, remind her of how sweet he was when he got on one knee, sang to her and proposed in front of the whole restaurant. Remind her about all that love we made and that sweet, sweet dicking he's got. Are you fucking serious? That is a fucking threat. Now stop acting like it isn't the same goddamn thing when your family does it to you, because it is. That's right. Had the conversation, and I'm going to tell you what you really feel. Shit might go a little ugly, but if you're anything like me, you going to feel freer than the motherfucker. I feel so liberated to actually speak my mind and say what I actually think. Get the fuck out of here with all of that. It is threats and emotional blackmail 101. If they are not narcissists, they are all up in the narcissist playbook and innovating on this shit each and every fucking day. And then we're going to sit up here and acting like they don't have the cognitive capacity to be told that this book is full of shit. No, I'm sorry, y'all. We got to step up. We know better. We're in this. Listen. Why do we hate the fucking Democratic Party? Because when the Republicans get fucking leverage, the Republicans do what? Ram the fucking Constitution all the way up our asses. Then when the Democrats get power, what the fuck do they do? Oh, well, we need to reach across the aisle, and we need to work with them. We need to make America purple again. We need to appeal to the mainland. No. Let me teach you something about politics, family, business, all of that shit. When you've got fucking leverage, use it. This game's about power. And our power comes from the fact that we're right. Yeah, there's nothing more powerful than the truth, and that shit's on our side. So let's go. Get the fuck. No, let's go. I'm here. I'm here to. Y'all don't want to get like me? I'm here to blow your family all the way up. This holiday season, Jay Bundy gave to me a reason to commit family treason. Yes. Yo. I'm just blow it all the way up. What are they gonna do? They're either gonna get the fuck over it and invite you back to the Christmas next year, or they won't. And you'll have friends miss with us. Like, who gives a shit? Why are we letting people who are wrong rule over us and make us feel like second-class citizens in our own fucking lives? No, we're right. There's power in being right. We have leverage. Let's use it. That's why this series is called I'm Pushing the Fucking Button. I'm pushing. What are they going to do? Nothing. They can't. They're wrong. That's what happens when you're exposed for being wrong. It hurts and it sucks. But yeah, let's get into some. I got some clips and shit prepared for y'all. So let's hit up that so I could. Boom. Let's do this one.
People about Christ and Christianity and the real important things. You are going in your things.
What is he doing?
Notified with New Edition. He's a Christian apologist who hosts a massively popular radio show called Stand to Reason. His most famous book is called Tactics, a game plan for discussing your Christian convictions, in which, in the words of his publisher, you'll learn how to stop challengers in their tracks and how to turn the tables on questions or provocative statements. It's a communication tactic book.
And the question was posed to me in a hour-long TV debate that I had with Deepak Chopra, the New Age guru, as we talked about spiritual things. And what he said to me is, so you're saying that anyone who doesn't believe just like you is going to hell? That's the way he put the question.
And my mother tried to do this shit to me, too. She was like, oh, well, it seems like you're just as extreme as what you're trying to oppose. And now you're saying, so anyone who doesn't do exactly what you want to do, oh, Lord. And this is what I'm thinking. I literally felt like talking to my mother was watching Apologia video. Literally, I was like, wow. Again, because what did my mother say? I don't want to debate you. I love you. I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. Right? But every single word out of their mouth is an apologetic tactic. And what did this make me realize? We're going to be talking about some of these things coming up. This is a series. We're going to keep this going because it's giving me gas and momentum. But it's like apologetics are coming from the pulpit, y'all. So this is what I realized. There's no such thing as Christians who aren't fundamentalists. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because at the end of the day, there's certain core beliefs that are fundamental to all of them. Therefore, they're all fundamentalist. Because there's no flavor of Christianity that doesn't have some fundamentalist bullshit at the core of it. But on top of that, they're all apologists. Because whether you're sitting at home alone, jerking off essentially to the Christian internet, you're definitely coming up with apologetics. Okay? If you're at home and you're devotional and your Bible study, the people who wrote that, deep into the apologetics. Right? But if you're just a run-of-the-mill Christian going to church on Sunday morning, filling the pews, I know we want to say, oh, my family's not apologists, my friends aren't apologists, but guess what? That preacher they're listening to every Sunday, he has the apologetic shit baked into what he's preaching. So they're picking up the apologetics responses, the apologetics techniques, the apologetics. So they say some shit. There's no reason in the fucking world my mother should tell me some stupid ass shit like I tell you you've been being lied to your whole life about Christianity, and you say some stupid shit to me like, oh, well, you want everybody to believe like you do, unless that is some dumbass shit you have heard in the Christian circle.
Is that the
so?
way?
How do they have the apologetic response on fucking deck, ready to go, ready to whip out the perfect apologetic card every single time? And then they're gonna look around and tell you they've never looked up, they've never looked into it. That's not what they do. They don't want to debate. It's because this is the shit they're getting in their church.
He put the question? Let's take a look.
What about people who are not Christians? What about them? Are they damned to go to hell forever?
Well, some people said if you're careful how you push the question, you could win any argument.
Also, if you're the person telling the tale, you can make it sound like you won any argument.
And the problem here is that this was a question about the exclusivity of...
Somebody probably made some shit about trans Jesus. You know, I think there's a stream about, I don't know, there's some interesting stuff there. But the reason I played this video was because of exactly what he said. I don't know if this is supposed to be the question that stops Christians in their tracks, but it was so on point because the one thing I give my mom credit for, I had this really disappointing moment with her a couple months ago or something where I'd asked her, you know, about Christianity, like sort of, does it matter if it's true? And she gave me this sort of, well, that's a really interesting question. I never thought about that. You know, and then I got some kind of yes and no type. It was real weird. It was like real disappointing. But this time, y'all, I went straight for it. I went with the unambiguous, do you believe I deserve to burn in hell, yes or no? And she just unequivocally, very quickly responded no. Here's the problem, though. That was the correct answer, but the book says I do, and there's no way around that. Now, let me flip this analogy to y'all another way. Let's say I belong to the cult of E. coli. You know, I got my PhD in the Lenski lab. I just felt like E. coli have provided me fucking hope, meaning, and purpose. And so I joined the cult of the E. coli. If a motherfucker comes to me, I have a friend, they're fucking purple, and they say to me, I know you didn't realize this, or maybe you didn't realize this, but yeah, your cult of E. coli is all about hating on people who are purple like me. Yeah, I don't know if you realize this, but yeah, the Bible of E. coli says that purple people are all types of fucked up, right? Now let's somehow imagine that I'm not aware of that. And I'm gonna be like, wow, I don't know what to say, but I don't hate you. I think you're wonderful. Purple people are good to go with me, and I'll look into it. So then I take my ass home. I pull out the Bible of E. coli to the chapter that I've Googled about purple people, and sure enough, it says, none who is purple shall enter into the kingdom, for the purple are like the scum under the bottom of our sandals. None of the purple shall enter because the purple are like the scum under our sand. Yeah, I'm fucking done with this club as of right now. Yeah, Purple Friend, can we have lunch tomorrow? Yeah. Hey, Purple Friend, let me tell you something. The final day of my membership in the cult of E. coli was fucking yesterday, okay? Today, as I'm no longer a member of the fucking E. coli cult, and I will never, as of right now, for the foreseeable future, the cult of E. coli can no longer count on my support, my money, my time, my singing. If there's none of that, I'm really sorry. And if there's anything I can do to, like, you know, help you out or make this right, I'm really sorry that I don't know, okay? Now, if a Christian can't do that, they can go fuck themselves. And I don't want to hear the bullshit anymore. Shut up. I don't even want to hear it, y'all. I love y'all. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear how emotionally tied they are and they were in die. I don't care. They're grown. Do you get to fucking drink half a bottle of fucking whiskey, get your monkey ass in the car, ram some old lady off the road and say, well, I didn't know drinking and driving wasn't illegal. Whiskey's so important to me. I was grieving and I needed the whiskey to feel better because I just no. At some point, the consequences of your shit is all that anybody cares about. And given that I'm no longer Christian, I don't give a fuck about why Christians are still Christians. They just need to stop being Christians. That's right. I'm done having the fucking debate about the reasons, the evidence. No. My mission is totally different now. The mission is stop being a Christian. That literally has to be it, y'all. We're not being honest. That's why I've been asking certain probing questions of us lately that are hopefully helping us get at a truth about ourselves that makes us want to speak up and say more. Do you self-identify as an atheist? Because if you do, you need to accept the consequences of that. And stop acting like it's some fucking t-shirt you put on that you can put on a different colored one when you're around your fucking family. Because that's bullshit. If you're an atheist when you watch my goddamn show, your ass need to be an atheist on Christmas morning. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. I wouldn't tell my fucking gay friend, oh yeah, it's cool. Like, if you coming out to your family ain't a threat to your fucking safety, come out to your goddamn family. And they got a hard time with that, too fucking bad. If they want to cry and pout and panic, that's their problem. That's their problem. They're grown. Listen, if you want to treat your family with love, respect, and admiration, make them earn it. Because then when they earn it, you can give it to them in good faith. You can say, thank you so much for making this change. Thank you so much for thinking about me. Thank you so much for considering me. But right now, you get excuses, and then you give us excuses. So ain't shit gonna get done because all we're getting is excuses on both sides. Something's gotta give. Their religion hates people like us. If you are from a family that is Jewish, Christian, or Muslim, I'm sorry, that faith is all about hating heathens. It's all about hating non-believers. And since we know there's no God, and since we know that you can't choose what you think, feel, and believe, here's the truth. Your ass is going to spend the rest of your life as a fucking heathen. So when that motherfucking book talks about heathens are going to be going to hell, they ain't going to be in the kingdom, some religions say you shouldn't suffer a heathen to live, don't let the heathen in your home, don't marry the heathen, don't follow the heathen's ways, They're talking about you and me. So when the fuck are we gonna grow up here and be like, you know what, my ass is grown, I got a job, I can take care of myself, I got my friends, I got my family, I got my dog. I would love to have great relationships with the motherfuckers who are related to me so y'all could go ahead and step the fuck on up and we could do that. But if not, I'm just gonna have to live without you and them's be the breaks. Because that's the world I live in. That's the reality. I didn't choose this, I didn't ask for it, but that's the fucking truth. And I'm not going to live under a blanket of delusion because other people can't handle the truth. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry, but here's the truth. God doesn't exist. Grow up. Let's hear more what these fuckfaces say when in response to this shit.
Christ. A critical issue in Christianity, but put in a way that made me look really, really bad.
What about people who are not Christians? What about them? Are they damned to go to hell forever?
So if I would have answered the question, yes, unless you believe that Jesus is the Messiah, then you will die in your sins, you will go to hell. I would have answered.
Yes, Jerome. She pretended that her faith is a less important part of her identity in life than it is. She misrepresented the nature of the Bible. She misrepresented. It wasn't. And I made this clear. Maybe missed it, but yeah, I did start off with that, and yeah, she flat out lied. You know, I mean, and again, we can sugarcoat it and we could call it but that's the problem, right? It's like, no, it isn't. It isn't forgery in the Bible. It isn't. It isn't plagiarism. It's look. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Even as a fucking academic, I get sick of all the fucking technical bullshit talk. At some point, the truth is the truth. A lie is a lie. If you can't show it, you don't know it. You're running, and yeah, if you run around telling people you're the ambassadors of faith and blah, 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 and then you try to act like you're just casually Christian and it isn't really that big of a deal to you, you lied. And honestly, the fucked up part about it is it really was kind of gross. I hate to say this. It was gross from a Christian perspective. Like I said, it was very Peter, right? It was very, oh, I am the rock upon which the church is built. I am Jesus' most righteous, most sacred, blah, 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 blah. You get it. And Jesus is like, nigga, you're going to deny me 3 times before the day is out. It's like your family finally challenges your faith, and then all of a sudden faith isn't that important to your family. And then and here's the thing, it's gaslighting. That's why it's the problem. I just told you, she acted like it wasn't that important to her. And then she gaslit me by acting like, why do I feel so strongly about it? Why do I need to talk about it? Why am I obsessed with it? Again, acting like it's like they build this life, they beat you over the head every fucking day with faith. Everything's about Jesus Christ. And then you finally bring your difference of opinion to the table and you're treated as you're, for some reason, abnormal for this being important to you all of a sudden. And yeah, that's just dishonest. And it may not be dishonest in all your cases, but in the case of my family, it's some fucking horse shit. Ain't shit casual about my family's Christianity.
Correctly, but I would have really given the wrong impression.
If you would have answered.
And if it is, here's the beauty of it, y'all. If it is, then leave it alone. That's the test. If you're really not that serious about your faith, which is fucking gross, because imagine Jesus came back today, looked you in your face and said, yeah, so I heard you told your son yesterday that after 60 years of Jesus, Christianity being the core of your identity, that your faith in me isn't that big. I mean, come on. That is just some fucking horseshit. Name a fucking Christian that would say their faith isn't that big of a deal to them, to Jesus's faith and his face. And if you wouldn't say it to Jesus's face, you're fucking lying. You're fucking lying. Because I know that's when you're going to tell the goddamn truth. Yeah, if you stood in front of the Lord and dropped to your goddamn knees and told him, oh, Jesus, my whole life I've been following you and worshiping you, which my mother has been. She's a good-ass Christian. I ain't even going to front. But don't sit up here and bullshit and act like it's not that big of a deal. That's just a fucking flat-out lie. If you won't date or get serious about somebody because they don't, if for you to be serious about a man, they got to be serious about the relationship of the Lord. If Jesus is the most important man in your life, second to your God, shut the fuck. Don't trigger me by asking me. I said it. That's it. I'm not going to bring it in. That's the lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. End of story.
Correctly, you would have given the wrong impression. I'm looking forward to finding out how that makes sense.
And I would have fulfilled a really negative stereotype that people have of Christians, and I would have played right into Deepak Chopra's rhetorical hand, and I did not want to do that.
How is a doctrine that you expressed in your own words and just affirmed as correct?
We know Jerome's a righty. Or he leans right in
mainstream Christianity.
In the PineCreek language of life.
Might be a negative Christian stereotype. Being homophobic might be a negative Christian stereotype. Ned Flanders is
I lean right. That's one of them, word twisters. We should call it Creekshianity. What do they call it? Like the Christianese. Creekshanese. That's what we should call it.
A negative Christian stereotype.
Doug's own little fucked up language of lies. Everything the Bible
says, even the stuff that contradicts the other stuff.
A core tenet of your own beliefs, expressed in your own words, isn't a stereotype. No, it is a truth you are uncomfortable with, and that you'd prefer to avoid than acknowledge.
And so in that particular circumstance, I sidestepped the issue.
Just in this particular circumstance, of course.
And I went in a different direction. But we can't always sidestep that issue, and nor should we. We need to address it because it's really, really important. But how do we do that? And
I'll one up you, Jerome, because that's another Doug tactic. See, what Doug does is he pulls all his horse shit out of the Fox right-wing playbook, and then when somebody calls him on that, he goes, well, I don't watch Fox News. Right? Well, dude, listen to yourself. That's not on us. People in this community only have your comments to judge you by. So here's a better question. If your comments make people think that you have a political affiliation that you think is wrong, what does that say about your fucking comments?
This is where the tactical approach, I think, is really golden, especially using the Columbo tactic in its third sense.
This Columbo tactic is from Greg's book. It's a form of strategic questioning that he named after a detective in a 1970s television show of the same name.
One more question.
A good euphemism for Christianity, Final Fantasy.
Were you swimming on top of the water, or were you swimming under the water?
Here's how Greg describes it. By contrast, the third use of Columbo takes us more on the offensive, yet in an inoffensive way. We ask a different kind of question, sometimes called a leading question. As the name suggests, leading questions take the other person in the direction we want them to go. Greg may consider this to be inoffensive, but in a court of law setting, leading questions are considered a dishonest tactic and one that distorts the truth.
Objection, Your Honor, he's leading the witness.
Objection, Your Honor, counsel's leading the witness.
Counsel is leading the witness.
Objection. Leading the witness.
Using questions allows us to make the point in a much more powerful way, especially when we get stuck in a circumstance like this. People asking us about Jesus being the only way of salvation.
Dude, I just don't know where you stand on things. You make a lot of comments. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. So, and I think that's the problem here on YouTube too. People got to remember that. Like, all we have is your comments, and I think sometimes people like to play devil's advocate. We got to remember, if you show up and you play devil's advocate all the time, that's all we see. So eventually, you just sound like the contrarian. You know. Sometimes if you agree with people, you should just let them know you agree with them first, and that might help.
This happened to me once in a Barnes & Noble where I was giving a presentation for a book I'd written, the relativism book, and afterwards during the Q&A, someone came up to me and asked the question, why do I need to believe in Jesus?
But my main point is I don't like to guess.
I believe in God. I try to live the best life that I can. Why do I need Jesus? So there's the question again, not as belligerently put as with Deepak Chopra.
And if I misidentify someone's leanings, then again, that probably just reflects something about their comments.
So belligerent.
What about people who are not Christians? What about them? Are they damned to go to hell forever?
Now, here's a case where I want to lead up to the point. I want to make the point by making a couple of steps. I have a choice at this point.
If you stick up for Doug, I'm probably going to think you lean conservative.
State my steps.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. You seem to have defended Doug's positions in a lot of this. And that just, I don't know. Yeah. But cool, if you're not conservative, you should just say, I'm not conservative. See how easy that would be?
Put my pieces on the table, so to speak, and then come to a conclusion, which leaves me with a certain liability. Every time I make a claim that is a stepping stone to my conclusion, the other person, especially if they're a little bit belligerent, can just deny the claim. And now I get nowhere.
Particularly when one is making claims with insufficient evidence.
So instead, I am going to use questions to get those pieces placed on the table by the other person. Because if they put those pieces on the table, it's a lot harder for them to take them off.
We tend to trust ourselves over other people. So when we hear ourselves say something, it's going to resonate more, seem more trustworthy, be a thought we've now invested in. In marketing, what Greg is talking about is selling versus telling.
Let me show you how that works with the question, all right? And this person who asked the question, they're at the Barnes & Noble. I said, when he offered the question, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? No, go right ahead. Here was the first question I asked. Do you think that people who commit moral crimes ought to be punished? In other words, do people who do bad things, should they pay for them?
Wow, that is a leading question. Let's listen to that again.
Do you think that people who commit moral crimes ought to be punished? In other words, do people who do bad things, should they pay for them?
All right, let's break this down, starting with bad things. Now, despite any instinctual intuitions one may have that there is any kind of objectiveness to this phrase, in reality, and upon reflection, actions and potential actions exist on a spectrum. Each individual has outcomes that they prefer to others. Some actions more likely lead to preferred outcomes, and we label those as good. Other actions are more likely.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and I think there's a reason a lot of people have rose-colored glasses on when it comes to Doug. I don't think Doug's a good person. I don't think Doug. Look, I appreciate. It's hard for me to say. See, I guess what's different for me about Doug is I liked Doug's content, and I found Doug's content to offer value to me. But the most valuable thing to me about finding Doug's content was the community I found. And while I did find Doug to be good at, the conversations and the call-ins, and, I don't need to deny the influence he had on that part of my life. I certainly was an atheist before I found him. I certainly don't think he offered anything I needed in terms of, there's certain things he did I like. I like The Flying Man. I like Poof or Drown, but, that's not... whatever, it just is what it is. But given what I now know about him as a person, he just has no value to me. And I honestly wish he would, I guess I want to say I wish he would go away, but I just don't, he doesn't offer anything to me anymore. I think he's an asshole. And so, yeah, I just don't think we need his voice in our community.
To lead to undesired outcomes, and we label those bad. But notice that in using the phrase bad things, Greg is forcing the listener to bring their answer, imagining undesired outcomes. It doesn't matter if Greg and the listener would have any common ground on what things are desirable or undesirable. The listener answers with their own context. Similarly, the phrases be punished or pay for them. The listener's mind will automatically fill in the punishments and payments that the listener deems to be appropriate and proportional for the actions they personally find distasteful.
When does a person go from trying to troll to being a troll?
The listener will also bring their own model of punishment.
And also, if you troll marginalized people, that's not constructive trolling, right? See, there's always these asymmetries. There's always these asymmetries. Like people who want to say, "Oh, well, I'm gonna get up here and I'm gonna say 10 things I hate about atheism." You can go fuck yourself. There's a difference between truth and non-truth. There's a difference between right and wrong. If you want to say 10 things I hate about anti-racist people, just so I can be balanced with the 10 things I hate about racists, you can go fuck yourself. 10 things I hate about skeptics, just so I can be balanced about 10 things I hate about people who believe everything that you can go fuck yourself. 10 things I hate about the scientific worldview, just so I can be balanced about 10 things I hate about unscientific. So, and Doug doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. 8, 9 out of 10 thought experiments, they're just all one side. And they're weaponized, they're poisonous. And if you don't see that, I hate to say this, I just don't think you're very smart or very observant. And at some point, I start to think people in the audience just don't care. It's like they're like Tucker Carlson fans at this point to me. I'm sure Tucker Carlson fans have a lot of great reasons they watch Tucker Carlson fan. I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. Do you know when I listen to Joe Rogan? When the UFC makes him the commentator for a pay-per-view, and I literally am forced to listen to Joe Rogan because there's no other way to watch that pay-per-view. But as someone who used to listen to Joe Rogan's podcast and his MMA podcast and look forward to the next Joe Rogan podcast, I had to say, okay, well, he did this, and that was kind of fucked up, and then he did that, and that was kind of fucked up, and then he did that. All right, I'm just done with Joe Rogan. So a lot of y'all just need to get over it. I get it. You love PineCreek was cool. The PineCreek thing was the way to go. He had a moment. He had his time. Now we all know he's a fucking conservative fuckface. And you do risk guilt by association at some point. Some point when the ship's left that station and you just left behind. Like, ooh, you know what I mean? That's how it is to me now. Well, if I go through and I see somebody and they still on that Doug tip, and I know they've known Doug long enough to know what I know, I'm just like, ooh, it's not a good look, homie.
Perhaps they desire retributive justice that divvies out revenge. Or perhaps a deterrent model where punishment is meant to influence others to want to avoid similar consequences. Or maybe merely restorative, where the punishment attempts to restore the victim's prior state. These are vastly different models. But Greg doesn't care. Someone not paying attention to this ambiguity will, of course, answer yes, as the question is asking no more than, do you want people to act in the way you want them to act? It is a tautology. Someone paying attention will ask Greg follow-up questions. Moral according to whom? Bad according to what standard? Punishment according to what criteria? Payment according to what scale? This is where the details lie.
And he said, well, since I'm a prosecuting attorney, yeah, I got lucky on the attorney part,
Lucky indeed. Or maybe this story...
I'm going to be honest with you. This is, again, one of these things that... And I respect Paula Gia. Obviously, I wouldn't be showing the clip if it didn't. Big fan. Hope maybe we cross paths one day. But... I think the new Jay Bundy is the type of person who, from now on, the conversation between myself and Mr. Kokol would be very brief. Mr. Kokol, I simply asked you, do people like me deserve to go to hell? And I'm so happy to show you guys this because it really did contrast with what my mom did, which was just give me the unequivocal no. Now, there's a difference between someone who's really trying to have the conversation in good faith, even if they're, playing from the bad faith playbook, versus someone who's just straight up acting in a bad faith, right? Because what happens is Mr. Kokol's gone all the way through this song and dance, and so he knows he can't give the unequivocal yes because, like he says, that will make him look bad. And he can't give the unequivocal no because he knows that either one, okay, then we're done, right? Or number two, you then have to start to follow that up with talking about the immorality this concept is hell probably to begin with, because if you don't think I belong there, right? And so the issue with my mom was that she did the right thing, that moms should do 10 out of 10 times, which is the unequivocal, no, you don't belong in hell. But what she wasn't expecting was me to actually now require some follow-up of you then have to stop worshiping the God that says I do. And, that's what she's not ready to do. That's what my grandparents aren't ready to do, and that's going to be a conflict because that's really fucked up. And they're, we're just going to keep at this till we get through this. But the same way they made sure I really thoroughly understood the ways of the Lord and the workings of His majesties and the goodness of His fruits and the Bibles and all of that, we're going to make sure they get all of this. Just don't care anymore. It's just is what it is. They're wrong. This is some bullshit. And if you had this conversation with your family, don't let them tap dance like this, y'all. Let's make this shit very clear. Do you think I should go to hell? Yes or no? And don't get it is not I. I love Uncle Bobby. Uncle Bobby, let's start here. It is not I who says you are going to suffer for eternity in the absence of the presence of the Holy One. Y'all, no. We're not even playing this game.
Exactly this way. Somehow, even when I was a believer, these stories of the easily...
Oh, hold on. Intermission. Let me hit y'all with something real quick. Let's take a big break. I want to jump over here to something else before we get on to the discussion here. I wanted to give kind of an example because I think my mom is very much a Raphael Warnock Christian. The type of person who, for all intents and purposes, we all love a guy like this. Great guy, great neighbor, doing all the right things, making a difference in the world, blah, 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 right? Historic senator, right? But there is this huge blind spot. And I hate to say this, if I knew Raphael Warnock, it would probably just be whatever. But if I consider myself someone to really love Raphael Warnock, I hate to say this, y'all. We have to stop judging other people's Christianity by our own standards of how dangerous it is. Because what I see in Raphael Warnock is myself. And again, I talk about this. I was such a nice guy, such a smart guy, such a well-to-do guy, that you would not have felt the need to share your counter-apologetics with me. Why? Because my ignorance wasn't your problem. And so you would have said, no, Jay's good to go. Jay, your Christianity's fine. You got the liberal Christianity. You vote Democrat. You're on the left. You're super progressive. So I'm going to go tell these fuckfaces on the Trumplicans that they're wrong. I'm going to go tell Westboro Baptist that they're sitting on some horse shit. I'm going to go tell fuckface William Lane Craig that the fucking argument from whatever the fuck is sitting on some bullshit. I'm going to go tell, right? And you don't realize that you're reinforcing classism. You're reinforcing racism in some sense, right? Because what we're saying is, hang on a second, the white people who are all types of fucked up, who are voting the wrong way, who are screwing up the world, you know what they deserve? They deserve more of our resources, more of our attention, and let's make sure that they don't continue to believe what they believe anymore. Oh, but these ignorant-ass black people, oh, as long as they're friendly and they smile at us and they vote the right way, and and hey, Jesus is keeping them out of trouble, right? Like, we have to see the bigger picture. And this is going to be really on some of y'all that's on the left or persons of color. Like, yeah, y'all, it means you got to stop letting your family's niceness, coolness, oh, they not bothering anybody. That is not what this is about. So let me show y'all something. Let me put yourself in this person's shoes. Let's really talk about this for a second.
I'm not just a candidate. I'm not just a senator. I'm also a citizen. And I have to say, I can't have Herschel Walker representing my mother or my two children. It matters. And I think integrity matters. I think truth-telling matters. I think character matters. And here's a man who can't even tell us the truth about the basic facts of his life. Claimed to have been a police officer. He's not. Claimed to work for the FBI. He did not. Claimed to be valedictorian of his class. He was not. Claimed to have graduated from the University of Georgia. Did not. Claimed to have started a not-for-profit that helps veterans. As it turns out, he didn't start it. It's not a not-for-profit. And rather than helping veterans, it literally exploited veterans, and they had to be called to task for that. Is that somebody you want to trust with the office of the United States Senate? I'm not just a candidate. I'm not just a senator. I'm also a citizen. And I have to say, I can't have Herschel Walker representing my mother or my two children. It matters. And I think integrity matters. I think truth-telling matters. I think character matters. And here's a man who can't even tell us the truth about the basic facts of his life. Claimed to have been a police officer. I'm not just a candidate.
All right, gang, couple of comments. Richard Madsen, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I hope she enjoys the channel as well. And thanks for doing what you can to make that happen, whether it does or not. Also, yeah, y'all are gonna find very few exceptions with me. Like I said, it's time to press the button. What we're having this conversation about is yes, unequivocally yes. Senator Raphael Warnock should stop being a Christian immediately, right away, pronto. Let's break it down. I wanted y'all to hear what he says. I'm going to break it down for you real quick, and I'm going to show you the problems.
I'm not just a senator.
Hang on. First thing is, I want to give him props because this is one of the few times I've heard him speak where he hasn't talked about his faith and he hasn't talked about being a preacher or led with sort of God, and maybe he did in the bigger picture of this this sort of whatever video or whatever he was doing here, and maybe it's just not in this clip part. But man, if they clipped it out or whatever it is, it was actually kind of refreshing to hear him talk, but not directly mention God. But that still makes it very useful, because y'all will see why this is a great example of why I think Raphael Warnock needs to stop being a Christian. Here we go.
You know, I'm not just a candidate. I'm not just a senator. I'm also a citizen.
Also a citizen.
And I have to say,
cool.
I can't have Herschel Walker representing my mother or my two little children. It matters. And I think integrity matters.
Integrity matters. Truth telling.
I think character matters. And here's a man.
He looks like a jackass to me. This is a truth that it literally hurts me to feel. And I got to get out of here soon because I got a meeting at 5.
We have a powerful cumulative case.
But he looks like a jackass to me. He looks like a black man grandstanding about the importance of integrity, character, and truth. Yet he has made his reputation on preaching a religion subject to a God that is none of those things. This is, and if you care about people, you have to care about that. How do you?
We have a powerful cumulative case.
How do you keep letting your friends and your loved ones keep sitting up here all smiley, all strong, looking all good, all feeling all grand, literally, and they're just radiating their confidence and their awesomeness, and they're talking about integrity, character, and truth telling? Christianity isn't true. Damn sure ain't no way to learn about no goddamn integrity. And character? Character? Let's be very clear about one thing. If I ever met somebody with godly character, now I'm not talking about Joel Osteen TV version of godly. I'm talking about King James Bible version of godly. There is not enough connective tissue in my body to hold it together to sustain the rate at which I would be trying to run away. There is not a mode of transportation, including psychic instant teleportation to a 15th dimension, that could get me away from that person and that God fast enough. This God of these people, and I hate to say this to all my positive people, especially all my positive black people that grew up on grandmama's cooking and grandmama's Jesus and grandmama's cornbread and all of that, that God is the worst character with the least integrity, and you are lying every time you associate with said character. And that character is the most terrifying thing I can imagine. And because that God is so fucking scary, Jews, Muslims, and Christians are fucking terrifying. All right, y'all, I got to meet with Rob. Link up with the gang. We'll be in Gather for the rest of the evening because after my meeting, I need to get working on the studio renovations. So come link up with us in Bundy Ranch. We'll be in the Pinochle Lounge. Appreciate all of you. We'll see you tomorrow. In the name of the Darwin, the Dawkins, and the Christopher Hitchens.
Strike and strike until you have victory.
Poof!
Zach, why she wanna leave me alone? Saying all I do is wrong. No rights when they been left turns. Playing that she gotta let it burn. Saying that the hell's not a home. Sunshine cause you heard it all before. Sometimes she don't wanna be alone. Most times she don't want me gone. She don't know I try my all. She don't know I sprung in the sun, but I'm going in the winter, so we good to the fall. Remember how I told you I get it and I win. Now I'm got it, you ain't answer my call. Wonder if I've been moving too strong. Maybe I just been moving too boss. Really hate when the feeling get lost. Nowadays she just dodge my calls. And the game throwing laws like Paul. Young legend Miss John like Wall. And I wish you never met like Carl. Thick game lay it down like law. Made plans but you canceled them all. I was just trying to splurge in the mall. Now I'm home stacking bread till you call.
It's time to roll. She tryna slide. We smoking Zah. Stop acting shy. Cause you a demon when I get between your thighs, girl. You like my rib, you know I need you by my side, girl. It's time to roll. She tryna ride. We smoking. Stop acting shy. Cause you a demon when I get between your thighs, girl. You like my rib, you know I need you by my side, girl.
We smoking that side. I'm trying to get high. She said that she not ready for lust. I waste my time. I got demons in my closet. I can't hide. I did all my exes wrong. They wish I died. Damn, I tried. They won't believe me when I say this. Oh my God. What a blessing. Hello, Phoenix. That's my twin. I told these hoes they won't get my heart again. Not again. Cause they were missing when I needed just a friend.
They were missing, yeah, they always missing. They don't want no smoke, they hit the blunt and started tripping. My daughter about to be 5, I ain't got no time to be bitching. I'm still reminiscing. I gotta go stack. Oh, wait, I know I'm heading, but I'm going up. I hit the side, now your Zach feel like I'm throwing up. And I just took another perk, cause one wasn't enough. Yeah.
It's time to roll. She tryna slide. We smoking Zah. Stop acting shy. Cause you a demon when I get between your thighs, girl. You like my rib, you know I need you by my side, girl. It's time to roll. She tryna ride. We smoking. Stop acting shy. Cause you a demon when I get between your thighs, girl. You like my rib, you know I need you by my side, girl. It's time to roll. She tryna slide, we smoking Zah. Stop acting shy. Cause you a demon when I get between your thighs, girl. You like my rib, you know I need you by my side, girl. It's time to roll. She tryna ride, we smoking. Stop acting shy. Cause you a demon when I get between your thighs, girl. You like my rib, you know I need you by